So we just got the background to set to red all the time. So that is the first step to verify whether the code was working fine or not. So I've just made a little bit of alteration um, to the CSS so that it's a little bit more readable and better aligned. So when I make a change here, it makes it red. When I make a change here, nothing happens because this is not included. This particular input is excluded because it does not have the class user input. So this makes life very easy for us because all we have to do is add a class called user input to any given input, and then that would automatically get all the validations. So that is why you write code once and then you reuse it multiple times. That is the whole idea of the efficiency that comes with it. Okay, so in order for me to decide on the rules for user input, I just want user input validation rules. So let's make it multi-line. Let's decide on some rules. I want user input alphabets, numbers are allowed. So alphabets and numbers are allowed. Any other character is not allowed. So in order for me to figure out if somebody entered an alphabet or a number, I just want to use a pattern to match it. So in JavaScript, we have an option to match a pattern to a string. So the method is called as test, and I will leave a link to it in your lessons. So it goes this way. So you declare a pattern variable, and then you say what the pattern is that you want here. So it starts with a forward slash and ends with a forward slash. And then it'll have, so you could say, I want A to Z only. So if you want only A to Z, whatever you give in this bracket, square brackets, is what it's going to look for. So this is an example. I just want to show you like how we build the pattern. And then we can say if, okay, not there. If pattern dot test, so you test the pattern for the string. So this pattern, whether this pattern is inside a string, the string on which to perform the search. Okay, so that string would be the input element dot value. So if the test returns true, then I have invalid elements. Else I have valid elements. So this is as simple as this. So when it is invalid, I want the background to be red. So you always have to think about how you reset. It became red. Now how do I take it back? And if the error is corrected, so I just want to add code for that, make it light blue. So let's look at this pattern itself here. So this pattern right now will return true because we are saying if the pattern matches A to Z. So my pattern is A to Z means it is going to go into this if loop, which is not what we want. So if you don't want this, what you do is if the pattern is not A to Z. So even numbers will error out. But here is the thing, you want to like do step by step. Test a small piece, see if it even works so that you can eliminate all your syntax errors and your understanding of how the pattern works before you go and like think about, you know, what about a dollar? What about an underscore and all that stuff? So let's first say if it is not A to Z. So this caret symbol here indicates if it is not. If it is not A to Z. So even if I enter a number, it should throw an error. Let's first test every time you code something, you want to test it. Okay, I enter alphabet, I'm good. I enter number, I get errors. I enter uppercase, error. See? So because A to Z is lowercase. So let's include uppercase A to Z. Test, successful, number failed, uppercase successful, uppercase with number failed, uppercase with special characters, failed. Okay, so that's exactly what we want. So now we want to include numbers. Okay, so lowercase is good, lowercase with number failed, uppercase is good, uppercase with special character failed, numbers passed. Numbers with special characters should fail. Okay, you also want to go back and test that when you do this change, it works fine. That when you change the value, it goes back to the. Okay, so this is one way of doing the pattern. Another way of doing the pattern is to use so another pattern would be to use it's a backward slash W. That would mean alpha numeric and hyphens are valid. So we could do that too. So let's comment this and try that pattern out. Okay, so we do a slash W. So slash W allows hyphen. If you don't want hyphen, you just want to exclude it. We use the pipe character, this, and then we can say underscore. So this would also tell it that we don't want any of those things. And then to make this search case insensitive, we can put a G there. So this is all in your regular expression. It is very quirky. It works only one way. So you want to make sure that you understand how that is used and then try out different combinations. So this is one combination we saw work. Let's try this one. Okay, lowercase worked, lowercase with special didn't work, uppercase works, uppercase with special characters didn't work. So I have underscore, should error out because I don't care for underscore. But what if I have this guy? It doesn't work. And what if I have numbers? All three characters that I like. And then if I put something else, it gives me error, including underscore. So both seem to work fine. So I can use this pattern or I could use this pattern. So there are so many available. There are so many ways to, achieve the same goal. Doesn't matter which pattern you want to do. This also works, this also works. So try the couple of different patterns. One is a little more easier than the other, but this one is a little more readable. This one is much simpler to write. Whatever you want. But you have to remember, if you want to eliminate something from a pattern, you use this caret in the front. So we tested it. So instead of just giving me an error message, I want to throw a message on the screen. So that is why we had these labels here. There is a label here, right? So we have a label here. So that is called message 1. So that is my label that I want. So, and then there is one here called message 2. So those are the ones that I want to write the message to. So the message would say only alphanumeric characters are in input or whatever it is. So whatever our condition is, that is what it's going to say. So that would mean I would do a document.get element by ID of that element ID. And then I would, because it's a label, I would set the inner HTML. And then I would say enter a valid input. So allowed are alphanumeric. So that would tell them that they can either enter alphabets or numbers. It doesn't matter.